Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Pekin Freeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Howdy, 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 and welcome to the Ray Esports and Weekend Warriors Week 13 vRunoffs here at Phillip Island. It's the end of iRacing Season 4 2022 and bring on 2023. But before we do that, we meet here in Week 13 for our V and SRF runoffs. But first, we get on to the track with the Vs here to start off the day. But yes, Vs and SRFs today's big grid events here at one of my favorite tracks, Phillip Island. I am Austin. I'm joined by Aaron Smith with Jonathan Grabowski in the production booth. You're here live watching Apex Racing TV.
Yes, we're going to have some absolutely action-packed action today, as we always do in SRF. I'm obviously new here. I'm going to get first-hand experience of what these guys are truly like. I've been doing a little bit of research into SRFs, and of course this series has been going on for nearly 10 years now. And, well, these races always seem to be absolutely action-packed. I was watching Okayama last week, and Austin, you, after every single one of these races, you seem to be absolutely broken. And I can't wait to see how broken you get after 2 of these races tonight, Formula V's and, of course, the Spec Fords. And I am really excited for this.
Yeah, it's because of this series I usually need to go prescribe myself to either a new lung or breathing exercises.
Well, yeah, you do come into the IGP Fun commentary booth absolutely, well, in tears is the best way to describe it, to be honest. But I'm in tears today as my throat is gone. I don't think I'll be able to do much shouting today, so Austin, you're going to have to do most of the shouting, as you usually do. But we're in
that
practice.
Yeah, that I can provide so much, and you don't have to worry about your throat being hurting anymore. So, because these guys are going to bring it all home very soon here at Phillip Island and bring on the new season as well. And I can tell you, the SRFs and Formula Vs are some of the best racing that you'll ever see. Open setups for all these drivers, and everybody here is clean as a whistle. Especially if it's a ref's whistle in a World Cup match.
I hope it's not the referee in the England match
You
yesterday.
know, it was. He was not calling anything.
Oh, well, I hope these guys are clean. I mean, watching some of the races, it's fairly bumper to bumper action in this series usually, but it's a lot harder to do that in these Formula V cars. They are so sensitive, and if you so much as think about getting close to your rival, you're probably in a wall somewhere. And not really much margin for error here at Phillip Island, being a very high-speed circuit. So if you make one mistake, one little piece of contact, you're most likely going to end up in the barriers and probably over them as well. Considering you're going into the barriers at nearly 100 miles an hour in these cars. But later on, when we get the Fords down here, maybe we can get some more, I want to say, British touring car type racing where people have absolutely no regard for the rules, and we can have some fun bumper to bumper, wheel to wheel racing, as these guys in practice already practicing their sort of raciness. The times around here about 2-minute lap time, and the field kind of actually spread out quite a bit. I don't know if these guys are getting some slipstream laps in. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the slipstream in this car is oddly powerful, considering it has no aero.
Yeah, it punches a very small hole into the air, but this car does have some very powerful slipstream to it, and that just allows these cars to race as close as it is. They're low horsepower, but they can just go on a straightaway with that draft, and you'll be seeing them in packs like this as well. But it is possible for them to pull away from each other. That H-pattern gearbox, always a little bit tricky. You'll be seeing a lot of smoke come out of cars when they head into the brakes, as this car is usually downshifting and catching a little bit of throttle as well. They're really tricky with the drum brakes that these cars have, but they are so much fun, and probably one of the most fun real-life racing experiences that you can have on a very cheap budget as well. And also, Formula Vs in real life are home to some of the best club racing experiences out there, and everybody on track is very clean with each other, and that's what you're going to be seeing here as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame that in the UK anyway, Formula V isn't as popular as I think, not as much as in the US anyway. But we do still get some occasional racing. I've been a part of some Mania Brands Hatch. Around there is incredibly fun going into turn one, especially the grip that you get when you come down the hill is so much fun in this car. It's absolutely amazing to just chuck it around. And especially on iRacing as well, it's easy to drive, but to get the most out of it, it's quite difficult compared to a lot of these other cars. As it kind of explains the huge gap between some of these drivers. I mean, between 1st and 20th, we have about 2 seconds nearly. And I know it's a fairly long lap.
There is a decent spread between these drivers right now, and that can be draft assisted or just the knowledge of the car and everything of knowledge of Phillip Island as well. Even though most of this lap you will be full throttle for, I would say, about 1 minute and 50 seconds of full throttle in this Formula V.
Yeah, there are only really 2 hairpinny corners, I guess you could say. We're coming up to one of them right now. Yeah, I think, as Austin said, yeah, there's only 2 corners where realistically you're going to be touching the brakes. And yeah, the brakes, as you mentioned earlier, they are quite sensitive. Yeah, oddly, you can't stamp on it like you would in a lot of other cars in iRacing. You do have to be very, very gentle. Otherwise, the rear will just give up.
Yeah, the brakes in a Formula V are drum brakes. They're a lot different than the disc brakes that you are used to. So everybody's first complaint when they hop into a Formula V, I always hear, the brakes are weird. And when you brake and try to turn, you will spin just like that. The car is very easy to get undersettled while braking because of the drum brake style, and it's easy to lock up, easy to get the car unsettled from its groove, and as well as you're shifting because of that H pattern, it's easy to overload the gearbox and overload the rear axle as making yourself go around. And it takes a little bit of tricks of the trade, but when you get it, oh, it's so rewarding to drive.
Well, yeah, I've only driven these cars very limited. Mainly when they came out, I remember doing a massive race at the Nordschleife. This was my first race in this car, and yeah, that was absolutely chaotic. But then you also quickly realize that realistically, especially on a track like this, third and fourth gears are the only useful gears. Second and first is only really for pulling away, if that, and second is a stretch maybe for really, really low speed corners.
Yeah, and I'm surprised you're actually able to get up a few of the corners at Nordschleife. I do not want to know what that lap time was. It was over 12 minutes, wasn't it?
It was about 12, 13 minutes, yeah. It was so much fun, though. I think I did it with Jimmy Broadbent. I think he did an open lobby when it came out, and we had about 50 people. I didn't make it past the first lap, but yeah, it was still fun doing half a lap of the Nordschleife in this thing. Trying to, you know, push the car up the hill, basically. I think also coming down the hill, it was actually better to just hold the clutch rather than actually pushing on with the car, because it would go faster. That's how weird and wacky this car is.
And also, one of my favorite non-official events, but it's a Week 13 tradition me and my friends do. We would pop up a hostess session, and ever since Mount Washington was introduced, soapbox racing downhill, just so much fun. No fuel in the car, you pop the throttle, get it unsettled, and then that's it. There's no fuel in the car, you just roll down the hill. It's so much fun, and there needs to be more hill climbs or more soapbox derby-esque type events.
I think I would agree with you, but I just think they need to actually do something with them, because I've not really seen much, if any, of the Mount Washington events realistically since it came out. When it came out, it was, oh my god, this big fun thing, and everyone was driving it around in the Formula V,
They're so
the
fun.
Subaru.
There's a time attack things, and I know a lot of community-driven events are up there. I know the guys over at Race Spot, they have a Race Up the Mountain event where they have 3 different classes, and everybody goes at like their own 1-minute intervals between each other. It's just like an actual rally event up the mountain, and there are other events like that here on iRacing. But qualifying is just about to start here at Phillip Island, as we get to see all of our 27 drivers here hit the track right now. It's not an open qualifying, it is closed qualifying, so we can just pick a driver and just see on how they go on with their lap. We're looking at Andrew Love right now in that 544.
Yeah, I think it's good that it is a closed qualifying session, as it does make it a lot more fair. I don't know if you remember, Austin, but I believe when we used to do the Apex Formula V series, I believe that was open, and the grid, sure, it made it very jumbled up. You know, you'd have some people who got like a massive slipstream, and it would give the lower drivers a chance to maybe get up if they did get a good slipstream and maybe put it on pole, but it's also... It would make for a very chaotic race, and some people would find it very frustrating, and you'd find the top guys would be at the bottom and blah, blah, blah.
I
And,
feel like the Apex Racing League has learned from the mistakes and not done that again.
Yeah, it's very car specific. I think most cars in iRacing, it is actually better on qualifying usually to just do a lap by yourself, since the car ahead sometimes can be a little bit off-putting, maybe in the dirty air, or just following another car around certain tracks is too difficult. But I think around Phillip Island it would be a good case in point that following another car isn't that easy considering, you know, half the track is at full throttle, like you said. And yeah, I don't really know who's going to come out on top here, but we're going to see these guys just complete their outlaps now as they round the final few corners. And we'll see who can put it on pole.
Yep, qualifying here currently still going on as our first drivers are just now getting onto the front straight. This is Jeff Jacobson for SRF Esports. And let's actually ride on board of Jeff Jacobson as they head through turn one. Now, turn one in these cars is very tricky. You do have to lift off to make it through these corners. You would think it was actually too slow of a car to make through there, but Jeff is pinning it down there in these open setups. He could manipulate the car to get it through there, but I know on cold tires that this car is very tricky. This is the first real test. Turn two, that long left-hander shifting down into third, then getting back into fourth gear. These cars, like you said, you just dance between fourth and third gear throughout most of the lap, and then it's turn three. That long left-hander once again heading into the Honda hairpin. This is our first big braking point where we're going to be seeing most of the moves onto the brakes, shift down into third, hit that apex, get back onto the throttle, and then back up into fourth gear before you hit that long left-hander at Siberia. It actually stays in third gear that entire time, just a little bit of a lift off and back onto the throttle once more. And then it's a long run up through these S's before you go up that hill and then down into the secondary hairpin.
Yeah, and yeah, as you did mention, as I mentioned, yeah, the gears in this car really are really awkward because dancing between fourth and third, it is a very fine margin because 1 or 2 miles an hour in this car is so crucial, especially for the braking zone of this corner. And yet again, down to about 50 miles an hour. Touches the apex nicely and just rounding out the corner now, and it's flat out all the way to the start finish straight. And he's going to actually, oh, I thought he was going to pull into the pit lane there, but no, never mind. Round the final corner in fourth gear, going to hit about 95 miles an hour once we cross the line. Actually, maybe even more. Go on, Formula V, giving it the beans. We might even hit 100 miles an hour.
Hey, we done it. Just barely kissing 100. And that will put Jeff Jacobson currently sitting in 7th place. Megan Overstreet sitting on provisional pole right there. There's Megan in that 44 car. Megan, last week getting her first podium in the SRFs, and she is feeling it indeed, and the car is feeling it as well. Getting a little bit squirrely mid-corner right there.
Yeah, she was looking really quick during practice, and yeah, it does really show the difference between having the draft and not having the draft, as these guys are, I think the fastest time in practice was about a 55.9, and they're setting 57.3s, which, yeah, that just goes to show how powerful the draft really can be. But yeah, Megan looking really strong at the moment. We've got about 5 minutes to go in this qualifying session. These guys probably only going to get about 3, maybe 4 laps in if they are lucky. But yeah, the field really spread out right now from first to 20th place, about 2.3 seconds, as now we ride on board with Steve Elson sitting in 3rd place. The Brit, one of the only Brits actually in the lobby today, doing pretty well, only about a 10th off 3rd place. Finding a 10th though in this car is going to be a bit of a struggle. And of course doesn't want to risk looping the car around, as that would pretty much bring an end to his qualifying session, as he now comes up to the hairpin. Let's see if he's going to be able to get it right, braking at the 50, gets it nice and neat around the hairpin
right there. Got to keep to the left, avoid the curves on the inside. They are raised up at some parts of the track, so you do want to avoid those curves. We saw on our first run, the driver, he hit the inside curve that really made it pretty slow to get out of that corner because it kind of upset the car. Jeff Jacobson did that. He's currently sitting down in 17th as we're looking at Matthew Mallory flying through Siberia right there. Siberia is one of my favorite corners. It's kind of unassuming, but in these cars, it's just a little lift off the throttle and then getting back onto it. But that banked left-hander, I know, a banked left-hander is an American's favorite corner on the track. Stereotype me.
Yeah, that's the least surprising thing I've ever heard.
It's a very fun corner.
Well, I would agree with you. Yeah, a lot of corners around this track are really fun because Phillip Island really is quite different to a lot of tracks since it is so high speed. A lot of these corners are either maybe one gear change down or just a small lift, and then obviously the two heavy braking zones. Maybe I think we come here a lot in Formula 3.5s, so obviously these cars are majorly different to them. But yeah, this track really, it is quite fun just to chuck the car in and see if you'll make it round the corner alive, which is why this track is so fun, because you have no idea what's going to happen most of the time.
The racing here is always close, and that's why it's one of the most fun tracks out there on iRacing. You get into a car that is very draft heavy in it, and it's going to be a very close race throughout the entire time, because you're going to have cars on your inside, on your outside, on your bumper. There are chances for you to pull away from other cars, and it's all about when are you choosing to have that fight with other cars, and it's just all about that draft too. Heading down the straightaway, are you going to go for this move, or are you going to wait for the next straightaway and head into the brakes at Honda Hairpin and hope for another car to follow you and start fighting behind you so you can start pulling away from that group that you're attached with? It's always like that. It's a 156.9 goes on the board for Megan Overstreet. And whoo, indeed.
she really is on fire at the moment compared to the rest of the field. She was around the same gap in practice, around 0.4 of a second quicker than anyone else, as Steve Elson goes second. And yeah, the gap between the top 10 actually is fairly close. It's only about half a second, which in the race will be, you know, bumper to bumper basically. But Megan, she could actually run away with it. It is very difficult to do so in these cars, but if you are 0.4 of a second quicker than the car behind, you never know. Maybe these guys behind will battle and she'll just blast off into the distance, or she might not. We'll have the, you know, who knows. That's all I can say. These cars and this track especially, you can't predict it. It's like the World Cup this season. You've no idea what's going on, but you're loving what you're seeing.
I'm loving what I'm seeing right now. Absolutely. Qualifying currently showing us that everybody is very close with each other. Some drivers are going to be relying on draft a little bit heavier than others, but that race up front, Megan Overstreet currently leading just by 0.3 ahead of Steven Elsa. Simon Ball up in there as well. Thor Dulo, Jason Green, and Jim Brewster. That top 6 is going to be very exciting to watch. We also have Mallory, Reese, Woodbolt, and Sadro in there. And everybody in the 157s are kind of in that group to be very exciting to watch out, because they know how to get around here fast. But can they top Megan? I'm not sure, as this is our starting lineup here at Phillip Island. We got a long pace lap, so we could just pace ourselves as well up here. Aaron, you want to do the honors?
Sure, why not? Megan Overstreet on pole position by 3.5 ahead of Steve Elson in second place, Simon Ball in third, and Thor Toulon in fourth, Jason Green in fifth, Jim Brewster in sixth, Matthew Mallory in seventh place, Antonio Gennett in eighth, Gallery Woodbolt in 9th place, Dan Sadjo in 10th. Rounding out your top 10, Andrew Love in 11th place, Kane Lasky in 12th place.
And we got Jeff Jacobson in 13th, followed by Charles Martin and Jared Colo. Tripped Isley and Chris Montgomery, Joshua Justice, Brian Shamals, and Kevin Keene, Maurice Griffin, Stevie Ray, Jan Steven, and Devin Kearns in 24th.
And then to round out your grid, you've got Greg Kingsbird in 25th, Reen Pike 26th, Ralph Salomon in 27th, and your driver who did not set a time, Patrick Monharter in 28th place.
Also, that driver in 25th place. Greg, you're familiar with him if you like to watch Apex Racing TV in a much more American time. You usually hear Greg on those broadcasts as well, and he's asked me to call him my own overlord. So thank you, Greg, for making me do that.
You two really should get a run, but yeah, we've got a fairly long pace lap here at Phillip Island, so everyone kick back, maybe get a biscuit or something, because this is going to take a while. This is going to take a long time.
So, Aaron, funniest thing, in these pace laps with these Formula Vs chasing out this Porsche car, you're full throttle sometimes trying to catch up to the car. It's a very unique situation because you're already seeing we're in third gear, but at some point it's coming out of the corner. That Porsche safety car is going to pull away from these cars, and you're going to have to go full throttle. I've realized I've had to do this before where it's just a panic. Oh, crap, I can't catch up to it. This was at Mid-Ohio a few seasons ago when we were doing vRunoffs. I think it was last year. Before I just stuck to just broadcasting these. But yeah, these Formula Vs and that Porsche safety car is kind of always a fun situation, everyone trying to catch up with each other. But we are 28 cars deep right here, and it's going to be a very interesting start, especially heading into turn 1 with these cold tires.
Yeah, these guys on this outlap, well, I mean, there's not really much they can do to warm up the car, since, I mean, you're not going quick enough to warm up anything, so it's kind of just follow the car ahead, don't crash into anyone, don't do anything stupid, and just make it round and prepare yourself for the chaos that is going to unfold for these next 25 minutes as the field at the back getting very spread out compared to the front of the field. Not sure what they're doing at the back, maybe just hanging back, try and do what they can to warm up their tyres. I actually think it is genuinely impossible to wheel spin these tyres since this car doesn't produce any horsepower whatsoever. But,
you obviously have not seen me race.
Well, yeah, you can wheel spin any car.
I have proudly flipped every car on iRacing, including the new W13.
Oh my god, okay. Well,
and Toyota 86 and BMW.
Yeah, you were talking about that just before the broadcast, but we're about to get green at Phillip Island. You can see Steve Elson really wanting to get going, and we are green here at Phillip Island.
Green, and away we go. Overstreet holding on to the inside already. Drivers wanting to go 3 wide in the background. Steven Elson and Simon Ball in there as well. Ball onto the outside, making it 3 wide for second place. Overstreet onto that inside, 3 wide here at Phillip Island in these Formula Vs starting off this weekend. Weekend Warriors SRF vRunoffs here. Overstreet on that outside line. Everybody smoke emitting through the air. Everybody downshifting through these gears. That's Tortulo onto the inside of Overstreet. Thor up into second place, followed by Jim Brewster right now. 3 cars wide, 4 cars wide at one point. Overstreet still into the lead. Tortulo right up there is there. 3 wide for second place still, as cars on the outside is trying to get away, but that inside line is so good. Cars into the draft right now, looking down to the inside. Simon Ball in second place. There's a little bit of touching right there, but Ball goes down to the inside of Brewster. Ball's up into third. Tortulo gets that spot right back into third place we go, as this is a crazy rate, but it is Simon Ball and Overstreet side by side for the lead here at Siberia. Overstreet holding that inside line after Ball got a crazy run out of the hairpin, but it is Overstreet still in the lead. But now if you look behind of Simon Ball, that fight for second place and third place is still going strong. They are 2 wide, they are 3 wide, and I'm pretty sure I saw for a moment they were 4 wide at one point. And that draft is really showing itself right here, and it kind of looks like the front pack of a marathon with the Pacers setting the pace right here, heading down into the hairpin. Who is going to go down to the inside? Well, pretty much everybody's trying to go down to the inside of the car ahead of him. The other car that did not go down to the inside was Megan Overstreet, still in the lead, and that fight for second is still close enough. Actually, this is the fight for fourth place. The 153 of Jim Brewster and Antonio Rees on the outside, and Steven Elson on the inside right there, getting a better run. And Steven's going to be looking to be getting a good run. Speaking of a good run, here comes Simon Ball and Tortulo, the 3 wide for the lead.
Thor absolutely came out of nowhere And that's what you get to see with these cars. A car behind, who can be maybe half a second back, will get a run on you, and you will have no idea. And they will come barreling down your inside. And just like thought it there, very opportunistic, and took advantage of Ball and Megan battling. And yeah, as you were saying, I think about 500 million times they're going side by side or 3 wide, and they still are at certain points of the track.
Megan's going wide. And another car, that's Joshua Justice off in the gravel and avoiding the wall nearly sideways and drifting it through the corner. Megan Overstreet, she also got out there as well, but up in the front. And Joshua Justice shot across the track and I think collected another car. But up front, Elson and Ball are side by side for the lead. Megan Overstreet, she's trying to pull her way up through there. Jim Brewster got into the fight as well.
I think Megan had some sort of incident trying to battle for the lead, but here is the replay of what happened to Justice. Oh.
She went out wide just like Justice did, but Justice got into the grass. Megan was able to get off the throttle, but watch this re-entry. Big crash, and a car decides to do a little break dance for us and into the pits. I gotta say, I love me some B-boy posting up right there, but getting posted up into the pits is not fun.
No, I think that's a very disappointing end to Josh's race. And
that was Devin Kearns getting thrown off into the track. Joshua Justice, he's staying on all 4 wheels.
Oh, okay. I thought Josh actually was out of the race as well, but I think something's happened to Lasky.
I think he might have disconnected. I think that might be internet. Yeah, he's back.
Oh, he is. Yeah, we're good.
All right, we're going to go on to Devin Kearns on board. We might have to go into a slow motion shot. Okay, thankfully he saved us that problem of that incident. So, okay, we don't have that footage. Our cameras got knocked off the car because he was spinning so fast.
The cameras could not handle the G-forces.
Look at this pack. 3 wide for 3 rows. I think they are. Overstreet sneaking their way into the lead. And that's Antonio Reese off the track.
That was so unfortunate. They were so clean through there. And just, I don't know if he lost it by himself or there was a tiny bit of contact. He did lose it by himself.
I believe he did lose it on his own. And let's run on board of Antonio Reese. And this looks like you're this looks like you're in a super speedway race at Daytona. And just had too much mustard heading into that corner, and I believe tapped the outside car right there. That just upset the car as they all get back into a line as smoke fills the air. And that's Megan Overstreet. She's off the track, but she gets back on it. Very heads up driving by cars around her to avoid that incident right there. But you know Megan, she will get that spot right back up near the front as we just see all these cars just slowly going past her. But heading into this next one, I think Megan, she's going to be in a good spot down that inside line. That is Chris Montgomery right in front of her. And Montgomery taking a defensive line right in front of her. And everybody getting onto the brakes and getting so close to each other. And there is Megan. She found the gap. She found the door wide open. And she stepped through it. But she is still behind Montgomery. There is Eiley right beside of Overstreet. And here comes Keen right beside her as well. As they are all side by side by side by side by side by side by side. As here comes Kevin Keen to make it 3 wide on the straight. He's actually backed out of it, thinking better.
Probably the smarter idea.
We're 4 wide now. We are 4 wide, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, the trouble is you lose so much speed when you pull out of the slipstream, especially when you go to that outside line. And I think it was smarter for him to stay there. Otherwise, I think that possibly could have been 5 wide if we're not careful. But now we go into turn 2. Is everyone going to make it out alive?
Yes,
just about.
It is. New lead change. Brewster and Ball are still going out for the lead as Megan, it's 3 wide down there, and it's nearly 3 wide up here for the lead. Let's run on board of Jim Brewster and take a look at that nose of Simon Ball.
Yeah, the trouble is when you run so incredibly close to these
here
guys.
We go. And there's contact, and around goes Ball.
And there's a huge incident, 4 cars involved.
And that's just the close racing that these cars produce. It's a double-edged sword. It's so nice to watch, but it's also a little bit risky, and it was just a little bit too much risk right there. There was a gap on the inside. They went for it, but so did everybody else, and around one car went, and then it was just pretty much a bowling alley from there.
I was literally about to mention the problem with following these guys so closely is sometimes you maybe miss your mark, and they're going through contact. They just about
Green?
keep it on the track.
That
Yeah,
was
I
Jason
think-
Green making that initial contact, going down to the inside and just finding the inside line. Everybody just diving it into that corner. This is now the fight, I believe, for fourth place. Our leading, the fight for third place. Our leading two cars have checked out of this, and that's Elson and Brewster up ahead. If these cars will start working together, if Elson and Brewster keep fighting with each other, they can catch them, but it's going to be a very uphill battle here at Phillip Island. But either way, these drivers are going to have a smile on their face and or sweating bullets, or doing both. Hey, let's go three wides with Stevie Ray on the inside.
And again, we're going 3 wide. I think in the background, we may be even going 4 wide into turn 1. But I think the guys in the lead, I think it's a smart idea for them to not battle and try and pull away. But everyone is so tightly packed, and they're going into turn 2 again, bumper to bumper, basically. And this just shows how much the positions can change. And a little bit of contact.
Well,
There's a car up in the background.
One car shooting across the track and getting stuck onto the rise right there. That is Maurice Griffin out of this race. They could get back onto the track, but we were looking at Stevie Ray making some side-by-side moves and getting a little bit of tap. He's now behind Jason Green. Good inside move right there. And one car got just shot off to the right. 2 cars shot off right there. The cars are getting a little bit unsettled now. We usually see these things last about 12 minutes in iRacing officials. We're going twice that distance here today. 25 minutes here at Phillip Island with Jason Green leading that pack with Stevie Ray, our biggest mover of the race, up 18 spots for Stevie Ray.
Yeah, I was about to mention that you can gain positions and lose them so quickly, but Megan Overstreet looking at Ray into this hairpin, and it's getting
got to watch out behind, because that was Trip Eiley looking down the inside, and Trip actually getting a good run right there and jumping up into 5th place. Now, I know how much we like to say who's moved up the most spots. This is going to go up and down through most of these drivers because they are in that same pack. They're in that draft, and it's going to be looking like a bicycle peloton at times. We're going to have drivers who like to go up front and then fall to the back, and then some drivers who are at the back and then move up through the front as this race progresses because there's so many incidents going on. But if you have a breakaway like we're seeing right here, that is the best moment you can do. Break away from that draft, and then you are golden. But you just have to keep that pace. And leading out this peloton, well, it's our pole sitter, Megan Overstreet, the fastest car out on track right there on 1 lap by themselves pace. And they just cleared 3/10 in 1 quarter from that leading 2-car field.
Yeah, it doesn't really surprise me, and I think possibly if those guys at the top keep on battling as they are now, I think Megan possibly might catch them, but 2 seconds in this car is, well, damn near impossible, since Megan has to worry about these guys behind, as they're all getting very frisky side by side for, well, they're going to be side by side for nearly this whole damn race by the looks of it.
1.7 seconds. Something's happened to Jim Brewster. He's fallen off from Elson, a bad corner most likely, but half a second has just opened up and separated between them, but Brewster's going to be getting that draft. But can they continue on, or will they be caught by Megan and the boys?
Well, we'll just have to wait and see if Brewster keeps on making those mistakes. But I did say Green. Megan needs to watch out for Green. And is Megan going to come back at him into this corner? She's just going to sit behind for now. But that draft, yeah, very, very clean. We love to see it, as we've seen a lot of ding-donging so far. Everyone getting a bit aggressive, hitting each other, just giving them a little nudge, a little friendly push along the track. Megan is surely going to fight this one.
Just got the
pulls
Drats heading
alongside.
down through that long left-hander, and now down the straightaway, Megan Green is going to be getting back in 3rd place, and everybody should go back into her Drat to continue that fight and not fight her heading into turn 1. But look behind her, Eiley, and I believe Eiley down to the inside. Eiley is going for the lead of this group on the outside of turn 1 with Overstreet on the inside. They go side by side in that fight for 2nd, and it is Overstreet round the outside, able to make it work in the braking zone. Not the way that she wants to catch up to the leading pack, because they are certainly fighting for 3rd place. I keep saying 2nd place, but no, there are 2 cars up in the lead. And they go side by side once again. Eiley onto the inside, Overstreet onto the outside, and there is Keen in there as well. Overstreet onto the inside, heading to the Honda Hairpin. Got onto the brakes, but it's Eiley leading out this group into the Honda Hairpin and out of it, followed by Overstreet, Keen, Green, Ray, Sadro, Malley, Jacobson, Ball, Love, Colo, Martin, Tulo, and Reese.
Yeah, these positions are going to change a lot throughout these next 11 minutes. I can't count, 12 minutes. I think if they keep fighting, I don't actually think they're going to be able to catch the leaders. As Megan now coming back at Eiley into 3rd place. She goes again. And
you know who has the best? You know who has the best look at this? Stevie Ray. Let's ride on board to Stevie Ray through here.
Come on, let's go on board with Stevie into this corner. He's right in the mix of this whole battle, all the way down.
Oh, Megan's gone wide in out the corner. There's contact right in front of Stevie Ray. Stevie Ray shoots across straight, a big crash right on the inside. It's Stevie Ray. I would say, well, he got the, well, he must have found a clover leaf or something, because he avoided all of that. There's still going on. The chaos is still happening, and it's a snowball effect of snowball effects here. It's an avalanche of chaos here at Phillip Island.
They're not going to catch the leaders now. There's no way in hell. I was hoping and praying that they might be able to, but yeah, it's 3.3 seconds. Yeah, there's no way in hell.
Well, yeah, I would say Stevie Ray, we had the best view of that, the live view of that. We saw that happen right in front of Stevie's eyes. And then everybody behind Stevie, I think, was just affected by that. I think the view that we want to see is from Greg Ginsburg would have an amazing view of that.
We need a view right from the
track.
back of the pack, just to see everyone die. I think is the best way I can describe it. Everyone, and speaking of Ginsburg, he's tumbling down the field. Probably
I think he just went off track. My overlord has just went off the track. But I think I think we will be getting that replay very soon. And by very soon, right now, let's ride on board of Greg Ginsburg heading through the hairpin. I think we're just going to be seeing the aftermath of all this. Yeah, there's smoke up in the air, cars all over. Oh no, Greg, getting onto the brakes. Whoa, everything that's happening is slow motion right in front of Greg. Not even talking about the speed of the cars, but everything just slowly going wrong for Greg. He was kind of far behind everybody else through there, but you could just see that chaos that was still blocking the track, and most of the cars just going into the pit lane. Now, cars that have gone into the pit lane was Simon Ball, Antonio Reese, Ralph Sampson, Jan Stevens, Devin Kearns, Maurice Griffin. This is what happened. Overstreet went wide, tried to get back on the track, made contact with everybody else, and then the car flies in there and gets airborne like they were flying on a flight simulator. That was a 13 of Matthew Mallory, and then boom!
Yeah, I think yeah, they really had to be a little bit more cautious through there. They kind of drove through there like there wasn't an incident, and I think it was a bit careless and caused a much bigger incident than it needed to be. But nevertheless, it's shaking up the grid now. Kevin Green up 17 places into 3rd, and Stevie Ray still up 16 places. We have some big movers from the back of the field, and of course Stevie Elson and Jim Brewster still fighting for the lead.
Oh, that's Andrew Love in the background.
Yeah, I just saw something in the background, a little bit of smoke and mirrors as they come to rejoin.
That's Andrew off the track. Yeah, quote from Andrew Love right now. Quote, it got a little slidey for me there.
I just heard that in the chat as well. I mean, That describes this car perfectly, I think, actually. It
A little
got a bit
swirly at
slidey.
times.
Yeah.
Easy to put too much mustard in there.
Yeah. I'd say that, yeah, that describes this car pretty much perfectly. As yeah, now the field is very, very spread out. You know, about
We
a
still
few
got
laps
fights.
ago.
We still got fights all around the track. We got a fight for the lead going on right now. Brewster and Elson, and the Brewster and Elson show, swapping spots with each other as Jim Brewster retakes the lead. Steven Elson is the only driver in the field to not move up or down a spot as he started in second place and still in second place. And I think pretty safe for that situation, as the only other drivers are Gian Steven and Devin Kearns in 24th and 25th. Well, that's where they started, down there, with that qualifying of theirs. As let's look at this battle for, I believe, 9th place. Never mind, it'll be 10th place as Colo just went into the pit lane.
Yeah, I mean these guys.
Montgomery, well, was he bump drafted right there?
I think he was.
No, that's a first of this car that I've ever seen of drivers attempting a bunt draft, because the nose is one small point and the rear of that car, the chassis that you're bumping on, is also one small point. So there is millimeter precision that you have to be to bump draft one of these cars. And then a level of nuts that you have to go for.
Yeah, I wouldn't bump draft in these cars if my life depended on it. I mean, even if I tried, I'd probably end up putting the car in front of me into a wall, since, well, as we saw at the start of this race, if you so much as touch the back of another car, you or the other car in front of you will be sent into the shadow realm. And yeah, these cars are so sensitive to any form of contact whatsoever. It's like the opposite of BTCC if actually could have gotten any more opposite. You know, you got British touring cars banging wheels 24/7. These cars you have to follow extremely close with precision. But if you get it wrong, well, you end up with half the grid dead, as we saw just a few laps ago.
Just like the FIA World Karting Championship.
Yes.
I have broken Andrew with 3 words.
Andrew?
I'm imagining people.
My name is Andrew apparently now.
Ooh, and a little bit of deep goes Chris Montgomery, and almost misses the corner, as that is Gary Woodbolt looking for the move around the outside, but that inside line for the triple threes is still good enough. Back to our fight for the lead of Jim Brewster and Steven Elson.
I don't think this battle will let off for the next 5 minutes. I think it will go until the end of time, and it might even continue into the next race.
One car in front of them just gone off the track. We might need to watch out for a re-entry in front of them. Actually, nope, they are still off the track, and they've gone into the shadow realm.
Well, that describes most of the people in this race into the shadow realm, as only the top 7 are actually within 10 seconds of the lead, which if you did that maybe 3 laps ago, you probably had the top 20 within 10 seconds of the lead. And I think something's happened to Brewster. He's fallen back a little bit from Elson, but obviously not nearly enough to waven his chances of winning this race, as the draft is extremely powerful. I think it's about 1.5 seconds, the draft. So, but at the moment, yeah, Stevie Ray getting very feisty in the battle for, I believe this is for 5th place?
6th place.
No, 5th.
And a report from one of the driver, I think one driver is out of gas. Some drivers are running out of fuel. And so we got a 3-car incident, 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, all just went off the track. And I think the driver that is, yeah, there it is. That is Ralph Solomon, out of gas and parked on the inside of the track. He's actually pulled over right in front of a marshal's post, just getting right there. And you can just hear the car just start sputtering, and there it goes. That is the most unfortunate thing out there. And trust me, I've been there too, where the car in the closing stage just runs out of gas. You've underfueled the car, your calculations were wrong. I can tell you what, you can never get calculations wrong with SDK Gaming.co.uk. iRacing live timing with the SDK Live HUD. We got a fuel sensor. We got a fuel calculator right there, and it shows up on your screen all the time. Tells you how much time you have left of fuel and how many laps as well.
Not bad. I have used it, and it is very good. It actually saved me a few weeks ago from running out of fuel in a ESS race, and I am very thankful for that indeed. But this battle
use your
for the lead,
testimonial right there.
exactly. I am providing contribution to SDK, but nevertheless, we have the battle for the lead again for the 1 millionth time, and again, Elson puts himself up into first place. Can he hold on to it? Probably not. Because, well, I mean, Brewster's going to have the slipstream and he'll overtake him and blah, blah, blah until the white flag. And that's the story of this race.
Everybody watching, this is not the only race we have on today. To stay a little bit at the end of this race, we're all going to hop over to the SRF sides, who are going to be taking the track right now as they're in their practice session going on in their own lobby, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's the SRF and Formula V Weekend Warriors Week 13 runoffs here at Phillip Island on Apex Racing TV. There are 2 minutes left here of this action-packed Formula V race before we have a little break, then head over to our Spec Racer Ford. So this is Stevie Ray in that draft. He's looking for that inside line heading into that hairpin. He's just backed off of it, though. He wants that draft heading into that final lap because we got less than 2 minutes to go and about 1 lap to go here at Phillip Island.
Yeah, white flag for these boys and girls on this, as Austin put it very accurately, action-packed race. And, well, I think it's going to be very much mind games between Elson and Brewster now. I think whoever comes out of that hairpin behind the first place driver is probably going to win, getting that draft and overtaking them. We'll have to wait and see what these guys' plans are. Do you get track position and hope and pray that you'll have enough speed, or do you stick behind and get the slipstream onto the rundown to the finish straight?
Crossover. Oh, Elson wanted to go for the over-under heading through turn 2. He had to back off right there. Let's ride on board of Steven Elson. There's that defensive line heading through that long left-hander for Jim Brewster. That's going to be the line that you want. And Steven Elson, well, just getting off the draw just a little bit, getting back to that draft, heading into the Honda hairpin. Well, he's too far back to be making a move right there. He could try to scare Jim right there, but Jim goes a little bit deep, missing the apex just a bit, entering the corner, but he's still leading, heading through Siberia. This next corner could be making or breaking these cars' chances of victory right here, and I feel like we're going to be side by side for the lead across the line. So, ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts, strap in, because this is for a wild ride here as we get a little nose action from Steven Elson right on Jim Brewster. As, oh my God, I thought they were intertwined for a second as they got really alongside each other. And another switchback opportunity by Steven Elson, trying to get the advantage on Jim Brewster. He's wanting to get that gains heading into this corner. He doesn't think that he can get the draft heading out of this final corner. And Jim Brewster leading out of that final hairpin. It's now head down draft opportunity. Oh. They touch right there. And that could be it for Steven Elson. That big touch, and Steven went off the throttle. He's 3/10 back, and Brewster around the final corner. Does he have enough gap to Steven Elson, or Elson has the draft? Here comes Elson. It's 3/10. It's now 2/10. It is 1/10, but it is too little, too late. Jim Brewster takes the win.
Jim Brewster went for the track position strat, and it paid off. I genuinely thought that wasn't going to be the play, but fair play. I think he just purposely lost some speed coming around the second to last corner to put Elson off. And I think Elson wasn't really expecting it and just slammed straight into the back of him. And that really did cost Steve about 4/10, which was just too much, especially in these cars. And fair play to Jim, who came from 6th on the grid and made it work. But your biggest mover of the race, Stevie Ray, up 17 places. Amazing job by him to come home in 5th. But yeah, I mean, as I said at the start of this race, you will not see any other racing like it in these cars, and especially around this track.
Yeah, our full results right now. Jim Brewster takes the win, followed by Steven Elson and Jason Green in third. Kevin Keane, Stevie Ray, Jeff Jacobson, Charles Martin, Thor Tulo, Chris Montgomery, Trip Eiley, and Gary Woodbolts, Andrew Love, Matthew Mallory, Brian Schmalls, Megan Overstreet, Greg Grinsberg, Antonio Rees, Simon Ball, Dan Sadger, Patrick Mahorta, and Jared Colo, Reen Pike, and Jan Stevens, followed by Devin Kearns, Maurice Griffin, Ralph Salmon, Kane Lasky, and Joshua Justice. But we are standing by with our race winner, the 133 of Jim Brewster.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
How's that for
Jim?
a fun race? You know, I love these V's. This is my favorite form of racing. This is my favorite league of Stevies. And I wanted us to all run in one big clump and put on a show. I hope we still did put on a show. I got to apologize.
You put on an amazing show up there. The opening race, the opening part of this race, I believe y'all were 3 wide for 3 rows deep for about 3 straight laps, and it was pure chaos and pandemonium up here. And I'm just like us. I believe y'all had a massive smile on your face throughout that entire time.
Well, you know, we practice in packs on purpose all the time with these V races because I want to make sure, you know, we get really used to the 3 wide and 2 wide. You know, that pinch down into turn 2 is tricky, and then the hairpin is tricky, and then the bottom of the hill hairpin is tricky. So we practice that a lot. And anyway, you know, thanks again to Stevie Ray. This is what 36th or something surf runoff, and we've had a few of these V runoffs now. But you know, he gathers a good bunch of people. There's something magnetic about his personality. What is it? I don't know.
It's got to be the paint job.
Yes, that shiny paint job, no doubt.
I'm attracted to shiny things, and I've raced with y'all before. And racing with y'all is some of the most fun, especially these close racing. Now the SRFs are getting out there on track. Should we be expecting you to hop into the SRF and do the double?
Yeah, I'll be out there. Hey, I want to thank somebody. I have a longtime racing buddy, Andrew Love, who was on this field here, and he and I have raced sim cars together since before the first Gran Turismo. And we do a lot of practicing together, and we're usually on Discord when we're, you know, talking to each other during the races and having some fun. But, you know, last week I thanked my family. They're always great. And you guys, Apex, the sponsors, Stevie Ray and Ray Esports. But I got to thank my buddy Andrew. You know, we've raced together a long, long time.
Well, congrats on the win, and I believe everybody that you just mentioned is going to be very proud of that. Taking the win for the first race this evening, it is Jim Brewster. He's going to attempt the double in the SRF. Can he do that? We're going to see. But joining us as well, joining Aaron, is actually Stevie Ray.
Hey, guys. How was that?
That was an absolutely spectacular race, Stevie. I'm obviously new to SRFs, but I can say I thoroughly enjoyed that race. And congrats on being our most positions gained in the entire race. 17 places to finish 5th. How are you feeling after that race?
That was a lot of fun. If you'd have told me at the beginning of that, starting 20-something, I had been fighting for a top 5, I wouldn't have believed it. But yeah, it was fun. Some of it was from attrition. The draft was huge. Just had to work the draft and the cars, but that was a lot of fun.
I can definitely see out there. It looked like hella amounts of fun, and part of me wishes maybe I had have taken part in this. It genuinely looked like incredible.
There you go.
But yeah, how are you feeling if you are competing in the Spec Ford's next race? Will we see you there? And if so, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'll be over there. I'm not as competitive in those cars as I am the Formula V, so probably more in the back. We've got 3 classes in our Weekend Warriors normal series, the Spec 1 for over 3,000 IR, Spec 2, and then the Masters for our old farts over 55, and I'm one of the old guys, so we'll be competitive mid-pack or so, but it's still a ton of fun with those cars. The guys in both groups, the Formula V and the Spec Fords, are just a great bunch of guys. I have to thank them for the support coming on track. Our leagues, the Weekend Warriors, I can set it up, I have all the fun, but it's nothing without the guys on track week after week, as I keep telling them. And today, this race here was just another example. It was just, the guys made the race. It was just a ton of fun.
Oh, absolutely, gonna have to agree with you there, and I'm really looking forward to the next race. But before we head on to that next race, is there anyone you would like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, most definitely. Like I said, the guys on track, the ones that support the league, the ones that support this series. Coming up, it's going to be the 35th time we've done the vRunoffs Big Grid race. So the guys on track supporting it, making it happen, and Apex for you guys doing the broadcast. Always a great job. Whoever does it for Apex, I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. That was your 5th place man, Stevie Ray. Did an absolutely stonking job in the race to, as we said, 17 places, especially in a grid like this where the draft is so powerful, the grid is so close, and to avoid all those incidents, absolutely amazing job by him. But Austin, after that race, how are you feeling for the Fords?
I'm feeling very excited for our Fords as well, as we bring in Greg Ginsburg, also known as my Overlord, into the interview room as he has stuff he wants to say. Greg, this is Austin. Do you copy? Well, Greg was going to hop in here and talk about Stevie Ray's Tuesday Night League we broadcast here on Apex Racing TV. The Ray Esports E-Series as they race the Mazda MX-5, the Spec Racer Fords, and I believe at times the Formula Vs, but they switched to using the IR04. Thank you, Jonathan. They use the IR04 as well, and it's a 3-car league that is broadcasted here Tuesday nights on Apex Racing TV as well. So if you want to see more action like you just saw right there, go check out the Ray Esports Racing League here on Apex Racing TV as we take time to get ready to hop over for our second round of racing for our Spec Racer Fords. You're here watching Apex Racing TV. We'll be right back after these messages. And welcome back to the Ray Esports and Weekend Warriors Week 13 runoffs here. But now we go from the Formula V's and the Spec Racer Fords have taken to the track here at Phillip Island as we are getting ready for our second round of racing here today. But this time, it's a bit bigger of a car. It's the Spec Racer Ford.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how much you've driven this car, Austin, but I'm very inexperienced with this car. As we were saying on the break, I've only driven this car a total of one time, and I don't remember how it drove. So, yep, great job, me. All I know is that it's a bit oversteery, but that's about as far as my knowledge goes. So take it away, Austin.
Well, luckily for everybody else watching this, I used to compete in this series in the Spec Racer Ford, and it's still one of my favorite cars to drive. I drive it nearly every season and officials as well, and it's such a fun car. It's very, very exciting as we are looking at a few of our drivers out there on track. Currently looking at Spider-Man, Jason Perry in that 97. Usually we see him racing in what is called in Spec 1, but since this is a open series, open signups, we kind of abolished the Spec 1, Spec 2, and Masters division that we usually see on the Weekend Warriors SRF broadcast that you see here every week on Sundays before IGP Fun, as we would be seeing these drivers hit qualifying. Actually, we're seeing them hit qualifying right now.
Yeah, and they're a lot quicker than the Formula V's. We were just watching about 15 seconds a lap quicker, in fact. And yeah, I think these cars have a. I'm not going to botch it. I don't know what the specs of this car is, but I know it has a beefy engine in the back. Do you know what engine it has, Austin? Because I don't. I'm going to have a guess because it's American. It's a V8.
No. You are really wrong. It is a 1.6 liter engine. Top speed of 150.
Oh. I thought because it's American, it's got to be a 5 million liter.
Stop stereotyping me. Not all of us like banked left-handers. Speaking of banked left-handers,
we're coming up to one right now.
It's Siberia. And Yorgmani in that Red Lobster machine, and Yorgmani made history last time out to end out iRacing 2022 with becoming the first Masters division to take an overall win in the Weekend Warriors Spec Racer Ford. So he's still riding high and wants to make another victory to start off iRacing 2023 on a good note as well. What a better place to do that than the big grid, the runoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite 2023 yet, but I mean, I guess you couldn't count week 13 as
it's
sort of
the beginning. 2023. We don't follow December's not a real month in iRacing.
December's not a real month. Well, I mean, I guess nothing really happens in December on iRacing apart from
it's
the new update.
Nothing happens. It's just a month. It's just a day.
It's kind of like Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesdays.
Nothing happened. Nothing happens on
Tuesdays
Tuesdays.
aren't real.
No.
Except for Ray Esports, which these race in.
It's the only reason we remember Tuesday exists. Other than that, nothing ever happens on a Tuesday. I'm actually trying to think of something that's ever happened on a Tuesday.
Watch you be born on a Tuesday.
I'm curious. Hold on. No, no. Hold on.
And as Aaron goes to find out what day he was born at, we're currently still in qualifying. Dudu Castro is sitting on provisional pole right there. Yorgmani sitting in second place, and Evandro Dantes in third, followed by Spider-Man and Flavio Indalo in our top 5.
I was born on a Monday. Okay, that's close.
And U.S. elections occur on Tuesdays, but we all know those don't conclude until about 5 weeks later. Aaron? Hot mic. You're on air.
Oh, no one cares.
If anybody has any coffee brands, Aaron needs some.
I didn't have a very good night My throat still hurts. I'm I'm half
It didn't
awake.
come home if you weren't aware.
Yeah, I'm sad. I drowned my sorrows in cider, lots of cider.
Ooh,
Nevertheless,
that sounds really good.
I like cider, especially a Copperberg. They're good. I like Copperberg. We're getting off topic. Can we?
And no, that's Alan McCain getting a little bit loose and off the track, and boom! Whoa, that's one roll. That's two rolls. Then, whoop. Hey, he's landed it.
The bouncy physics of iRacing of old.
Well, I would say that's a double barrel roll front flip supreme, and if this was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, that would be wicked.
Alright.
But this is iRacing, so it's not good.
Another Tony Hawk reference. That game was your childhood, wasn't it?
Yes.
I'm a Skate.
PlayStation 1.
Skate was better in every single way, especially Skate 3.
You were 10 years younger than me.
Exactly. Skate's better. I had a better childhood than you. I've triggered Austin.
Anyway, with the cars back on track and the broadcast still going on, it is still Dudu Castro in the lead with a 143.44 with about a 1.7 tenth lead to York Monty. And with York Monty and Dudu Castro, there's a little bit of a rivalry heading in there, but Monty's biggest rival is not here this week, I believe.
Don't look at me.
I'm looking at Jonathan.
I was gonna say, I don't know. I'm new to this series. I know Spider-Man and that's it.
Yeah, Flav. Yeah, Naselli's not here. And Pinero is not here as well. So York Monty is looking like the top driver right there, but it's not sitting up front. Dudu Castro is. And Dudu, he's very experienced around here. And so we're going to be having a good fight up at front between Monty and Dudu Castro, Dantes and Spider-Man with Flavio in there as well. And these are all the usual suspects that we usually see. But Dantes and Perry are actually like the bottom end of our Spec 1 drivers, but the Spec 1 drivers are going to be showing up in force here, and I'm not surprised by this top 6.
Again, I'm pretending to be surprised. My money's on Spider-Man. He's cool. I like Spider-Man.
Jason Perry.
Yeah.
He's asked us to call him Spider-Man, but our starting grade here is Dudu Castro, the Brazilian, starting up on York Monty and Evandro Dantas in 3rd place. Jason Perry, aka Spider-Man, in 4th, followed by Flavio Andalo, Tom Gradwell, and Jason Green. Matthias Weiger and Dan Sadro, followed by Michael Nelson, Adam Bradshaw, and Antonio Rees in 12th place. Behind them, it is Ken Bately and Kurt Nguyen's, Stephen Mitchell, Paul Slavonic, and Chris Montgomery, followed by Jim Brewster, our Formula V race winner, starting in 18th, followed by Ian Gibson, Jeff Jacobson, Alan McCain, Daniel Wood, and Daughtery, and Philip Berry in 24th. In 25th, it's Megan Overstreet and Charles Vaccaro, Paul Jackson and Jeff Cantor, Kane Lasky, Wayne Palmer, and last race, biggest mover starting in 31st, looking to make it 2 biggest movers. It is Stevie Ray, followed by Gary Woodbolt, Paul Godin, and Joshua Flores, Bob Kern, and Steve Elson in 36th. And at the end of our grade in 37th is Joshua Justice, who did not put in a lap time. The last 2 spots on the grid did not put in there. And I do not believe Joshua Justice is actually in the session. But we are about to go rocking and rolling here at Phillip Island.
We are indeed, as we've not got as long to go as we did last race round the pace car. And maybe the Spec Fords will be able to keep up with the Porsche this time. But of course, we don't know. We'll wait to see and find out. But yeah, we've got about 2.5 minutes to talk about these drivers, how amazing this track is, how difficult this car is to drive, and who we think is going to win. So Austin, place your bets.
Well, this is heat 1 of 2, actually. This is a 15-minute heat, and then we're going to have a invert and then it's going to be the full 25 minutes here. So this is the first part of a 2-part race here in these Weekend Warriors. But my money has always been on Red Lobster. It's got to be Yorgmani up in that 925. He's very competitive, he's very quick, and he knows what to do here. And around Phillip Island is going to be very close racing, and York loves these close racing, and it's going to be a lot of fun as we ride on board of Yorgmani right now as the drivers are getting briefed by Stevie Ray on what's going to happen and what's going to go down.
Yeah, these guys,
the top 10 is inverted.
Of course, as we like to remind everyone, these races are, well, one fun as hell, as Stevie was saying. And yeah, just go out there, do your best. Not too much stress. It's week 13. Let's just go crazy, and we're gonna have a lot more bumper to bumper action, as you can actually touch another car in this car and it won't flip over. I think that's the best way to describe it. So we might see a lot more tight battles going into these 2 hairpins, like the one we're coming up to now, and maybe Yorgmani will is already looking right now on this pace lap to see where his opportunities are to get past Castro in front. And well, we're coming around the final few corners as we get ready to go racing for the second time tonight in SRF Weekend Warriors.
Yeah, the first of 2 races for these Spec Racers. 15 minutes are going on to the clock right now. Everybody all bunching up and getting ready to go. They're following Dudu Castro of Texaco Racing by TK out front as he gets onto the throttle. A green, away we go. A massive opportunity right now by Dudu Castro, taking the gas very early, and Yorgmani getting into that draft immediately, but he's already side by side. There's Evandro Dantes down to the inside, and here comes Dudu Castro and Evandro Dantes and Madi. They're going 3 wide on the opening lap, 3 wide heading into turn 1, and it's the Red Lobster of Yorgmani taking the lead of the race.
Yeah, Castro already down to 4th place. Not an ideal start for him, but he's already trying to pip a move on Jason Perry, and he's back up into 3rd place for now. But an absolutely amazing start for Yorgmani into 1st place. The Lobster slipping his way through, but he's going to have competition from Dantas now coming into this hairpin. They're going side by side. It's going to be very close. Who's going to be lost on the brakes? And it's Dantas going down to the inside.
Yeah, Dantas retakes the lead with Yorgmani as we were looking through the Honda hairpin, looking at all the fighting going on from 1st all the way down to 15th and everybody else. Monty retakes the lead as Paul Slavonic trying to catch up to the 922 of Ken Bately. Back up to the lead. Monty, Dantas, Castro, Spider-Man, and Gradwell, your top 5.
Yeah, so far we've got a fairly clean start. I hope I don't jinx anyone and into this hairpin. We don't get any chaotic crashes or spins, but now that I've said that, everyone getting really bunched up. But as we come into this hairpin, I don't see too many moves. Oh, there was one in the background.
No,
I think
Reese
that was
Bradshaw.
Reese and Bradshaw, yes. And I think Reese just managed to get ahead. Yeah, but Bradshaw coming back at him and retakes that position for 11th. Great racing between those two to keep it on the track and not to go and spin each other out for no reason. It's only lap 1. We've got 10 laps to go in this race, and he's pulling out of his slipstream to try and... Oh, he's actually alongside. Couldn't see from the back, but Bradshaw now gets re-overtaken.
And getting onto the brake trap behind him, but there's separation from Antonio Rees and the cars ahead. So this is the second fight from our leading fight, but they are nose to tail with each other right now. Like I said, 10 laps or 15 minutes is this first heat of 2 races here for us today, and it's still Yorgmani up in the lead. Our top 10 will be inverted here, so anybody in 10th place, they'll be starting up on pole for our second race.
Yes, and as we've seen so far on this opening lap, it's not incredibly easy to overtake, but people are having a go nonetheless. And these guys really do have to push to the limit. And, oh, there's a spinner at the hairpin.
That is Ian Gibson around.
Yeah, I think it might have just gotten on the brakes a little bit too late, but I'm not sure if he got a tap. We might be able to get a replay of that to confirm.
back up to Jason Green as we go back to see what happened to Ian Gibson. And Gibson is the second car in frame. The car really loose right behind him, and he does get tapped.
Ooh, yeah, that was way too optimistic. Not exactly sure what car that was, but yeah, that was a very, very optimistic move. And just gave him a little bit of a tap and kind of just forgot he was there. But he's going to have to try and come back into this race. We've still got not long to go, but if he plays his cards right, he can maybe gain a few more positions as Reese now moving himself up into 10th place, going fairly strong so far as he actually sets the new fastest lap of the race. And look at this battle for, I think this is 19th place, 20th place. At the moment, Megan Overstreet, of course, your pole sitter for the last race, getting on that inside curve into turn 1, but holds strong. And now...
Ooh, a little bit of tap. That was Wood and Doherty. They're both off the track. Then Doherty, again, getting a little bit ambitious on the brakes, makes contact with another car at turn 2.
Yeah, that's... No coincidence there. I think we're having a battle for the lead, actually. Oh, careful with the rejoin.
Oh, it's got to watch out. Rejoin. That's a very dangerous area. Speaking of very dangerous, our lead pack right here. Dantes ahead of Manu. We got Spider-Man on that outside line, just getting right back in there. Third place is Jason Perry, followed by Dudu Castro. A big crash at Siberia. Paul Sylvanik, I believe, was involved in that as well. But look at 3 cars just stuck on the outside trying to get back in there. That's Bradshaw and Gradwell trying to get back onto the track.
Yeah, they're slipping down the order now. I think that started a lot earlier than it actually did, but there's Dantas trying to defend from Jorg Mani. These guys are absolutely on it so far, but we're going to get a replay of what happened with these guys at the back coming into Siberia. Already have a car off the track.
909. And just got tapped right behind, and then another car involved in that as well. And well, there's the 4th car, and we're going to be seeing a 5th car very soon. It's just Siberia. It's just so tricky when you get cars involved into an incident. So we go back to live images. 3 taking the lead is Jorg Mani ahead of this top 4, and our top 4 are starting to pull away from Flavio Andalo, but Flavio is still right there as well. Our top group is our top 9, and then it's the fight for provisional pole for our second race of that second group.
I'm going to ask this question to Austin right now. Do you think, going a little bit wide there, but do you think the pole sitter for the next race is actually going to be able to do much? Obviously a lot longer race, but do you think they'll be able to get back into that top position?
For the second race?
Yeah.
So the driver that finished 10th.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why we have inverts is to make it a little bit more challenging for these drivers. So, theoretically, yes, they could hold them off.
I mean, I think it'd be very interesting, since I actually don't think the gap between the top 10 was too much, but there's Castro trying to find a way through on Spider-Man, but can't quite find a gap that works out for him as we go into this hairpin. Is anyone going to go for a send? Castro has a little look, but can't quite do anything. As we now round the final few corners, the long slipstream game begins. Can Jorg Mani try and get back past Dantas? Can Castro do anything to move himself up onto the rostrum? We will find out. As I mean, the gap behind as well, it's about 2/10 between all of these drivers, and they're going around the final corner. They're really planting the throttle as hard as they can, just to try and close in on the gap. But we're going 3 wide for the lead.
Yep, Perry takes the lead. It is Spider-Man leading this race.
Absolutely good opportunistic driving from Perry to slip himself in between, I believe it was Mani and Dantas, and now Dantas slipping down to 4th. He needs to be careful
stuck
not
on
to
that
lose
outside
any more
line.
places.
He can't get any speed on that outside line. Everybody's sneaking up onto the inside. That's Flavio in that 13th, getting right beside of Eduardo Dantas, and now Perry's got to watch out. Here comes Mani onto the inside of the track, but he's now set up defensively for that inside line as they go side by side. Perry and Mani, Red Lobster versus Spider-Man, still side by side through the hairpin. And there's Dudu Castro trying to catch up with them once more as they are still side by side. But is advantage Monty as Monty takes the lead of this race. And here comes Castro. Dudu is getting a good head of steam. He could go on to the inside right there, but he's just covered off. But no, he found the opportunity. The window was open. Here comes Dudu. Castro down low. Gets a big hit to understeer though. It almost collects Monty right there, but they both all avoid incident right now. Perry looking down to the inside and around to the outside. That's a 22 of Weiger looking on to the outside of Dantes in the background as we look on board from behind of Dudu Castro at the rest of the field as our top group is still nose to tail and very into this race as we start lap 6 as we close in on 6 minutes to go here at Phillip Island, and a big battle going on for 25th.
Yeah, you see Bradshaw, who we saw had an earlier incident, now just trying to make his way back through the field. He had some decent pace, and I'm sure he will be able to get back past some of these slower drivers.
Uh-oh, it's in the grass.
Oh, watch out. Woo.
Watch out. Save it, save it, save it, save it. A little bit more of the grass. Become a lawnmower. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Breathe in, out. Sisu, Sisu. Done. Tom Gradwell, take a bow.
Yeah, I just got to clap to that. That was a superb save.
Uh-oh,
and
something
I
else
think we got
happened.
a car off into turn 2.
Mitchell. Whoa,
Ooh.
2 cars off. Mitchell is off as there is... Well, there's Mitchell on the inside, and was that Vaccaro, the other car? It was Gradwell and Mitchell having a little bit of contact at turn 2. As here is that replay of Tom Gradwell as, well, he's hit that inside curve, and that's a shot the car on the outside. Almost full lock to the left, and then steering to the left, steering to the right, and then back onto the grass again. Letting everybody else through that before getting back on track. If you stayed on track, that would have been a big incident. Speaking of a big incident, that 917 has rocked and rolled into a lot of body work. As this is back to our leading group. Monty still leading out Castro and Jason Perry, your top 3, but that leading group is still looks like about nine cars back, and this is what happened to the 917 to Stephen Mitchell. Heading into turn 2. Oh, 212 just got a little bit offset in front of him. Megan Overstreet goes down to the inside, trying to avoid him. Unfortunately, they did make a little bit of contact, and around goes the 917. And I feel like when 917 gets back onto the track, he got that rear end damage because from that camera angle, it didn't look damaged.
No, it looked fine from that. So yeah, I think he did have a separate incident trying to rejoin. But I was going to mention that the top 4 separated by only about a second. But I've just realised Antonio Rees up 8 places into 4th, and Dante really struggling at the moment, down in 6th place. So yeah, congrats to Reeves so far. We've still got a few laps to go, but here's Money trying to retake the lead from Dudu Castro and makes it stick. And Jason Perry trying to also make a move on Castro, but can't quite find a move. Round Siberia they go, and there's Reeves trying to actually sneak onto the inside of Jason Perry. Not a corner you see anyone really trying to overtake very often on the exit. Very difficult, but he's now going to try and maybe look for a move into this hairpin. Just going to sit behind for now.
There's a lot of braking going on right there. Perry kind of backed up, wanting to get an advantage on Castro, but Castro's also braking as well. They had something on Reeves. The Portuguese driver is trying to get an advantage right there, but couldn't get it. And stays in 4th place and just has to look after the time right now. 3 minutes to go, 2 laps remaining here at Phillip Island.
Yeah, we've had a lot of change for the lead, and you really can't guess who's going to come out on top with this. You've got about the top 4 who all have a chance to win this race. Castro, I think.
Uh-oh. Gibson.
That's Gibson in the wall.
Yes. That's the exit of the hairpin.
Yeah, probably too much mustard is to be my guess, as you love to say.
Well,
but,
he's heading into the braking zone, and it's too much mustard on one car, and then too much mustard off the exit, and it's a double dip of mustard for 2 cars right there.
Yeah, thought so. I didn't think the car behind would have done anything, but there's a move for the lead.
Castro down to the inside, and here comes Reese, and that's Monty getting collected off the track. Monty had to check up off the or else he's going off the track and got a big hit from behind. Monty is out of the top 10. And it is Dudu Castro in the lead of this race, followed by Antonio Reese, Jason Perry, Matthias Weiger, and Jason Green.
You put your money on him, and he's now fallen down the grid. The curse of Austin continues.
I guess my curse lives on, but it was side by side. He was sliding right there. He had to lock up the brakes to get the car straight, and there was just an unfortunate tap from behind him, and it was Flavio who got the final tap in there, but we're looking at our fight for the lead. The white flag is in the air. 1 lap to go here for our first of 2 races here today of the Spec Racer Fords here in the Weekend Warriors runoffs on week 13.
I do think Reese has got the upper hand here. He's got the massive overspeed from the slipstream. He's quite a long way ahead now, about 500ths in front of Castro. And Castro coming back at him on the inside of turn 1.
Reese is off the track. He stayed on. He stayed in control, and he goes down to the inside. They make a little bit of contact right there, but they still keep going on through turn 2. Castro and Reese nose to nose with each other. They're side by side. Antonio Reese retakes the lead, up 11 spots, looking for that lead of the race and taking the first race here today. Here comes Dudu Castro back down to the inside here at the Honda hairpin. They go side by side, and there's Jason Perry down low of Weiger for third. And it is Reese switching back over, trying to get a better line heading into Siberia, but it is Castro leading out Reese, leading out Perry, Weiger, Green, and Dantes, your top 6 right now. Let's ride on board on Jason Perry in third place, and here is Reese looking down to the inside, heading up to the S to make a little bit of contact right now. Here comes Jason Perry out of nowhere with the speed of Angels down to the inside. He's got 1. Is he looking for 2? No, 2 far, 2 back. But Perry down low, looking for second place. They're still side by side. Weiger also back there as well. He's wanting to go 3 wide heading into the corner. Reese holds off Perry for second place. 1 corner to go, and it is the long left-hander. This is the final stretch here, the first race for the Ray Esports Weekend Warriors Spec Racer Ford before the top 10 get inverted for heat number 2. Weiger getting into the grass of Jason Perry, but it is Dudu Castro in the lead, separated just enough. He's snaking now the front straightaway as he takes the first win here of our Spec Racer Fords. What a fantastic ending to our first heat, and it is not over. Heat number 2 is on its way, and it will be started off with Ken Bately on pole.
Yeah, I mean, the top 5 separated by a second. Actually, not even 8.5 tenths. Oh, that was a spectacular finish at the end. I honestly didn't know who was going to come out on top. At one point, you think Castro, Reese, Perry, even Weiger and Green were in there at some point. Oh, wow. that was spectacular racing.
Well, heat number 1 is in the books, and it goes to Dudu Castro starting up on pole position, and it takes it from pole to checkered here. But it's heat number 1, our main event. Heat number 2 is just a short wait away. Our top 10 will be inverted as we still have 1 car out there on track, and I believe that 1 car is Charlie Picaro, as this is Matthias Weiger. He's going to go for a little bit of airtime.
It's usually into turn 1, people try and do the jump, but maybe he's just trying to create himself one, but just slams into the wall for him.
Oh, he's just going for a drift fest. He's just going for a drift fest. He's showing off his car saving ability. And he's still going, still going, still going. Up, drifting to avoid the wall. And, well, Matthias, up 4 spots. Good showing for him as we flip the top 10. And here's your top 10. Ken Bately starting up on pole, followed by Paul Slavonic, Michael Nelson, Eduardo Dantes, Flavio Andalo, Jason Green, and Matthias Weiger, Jason Perry, Antonio Reese, and Dudu Castro. Our last race winner started down at 10th. And then the rest of the grid, Megan Overstreet in 11th, followed by Jim Brewster in 12th. and I believe Jim went up 14 spots to get 12th place, followed by York Bonnie, Alan McCain, Kurt Newens, Dan Sadro, Kane Lasky, Chris Montgomery, Gary Woodbolt, Adam Bradshaw, Jeff Cancer, Stevie Ray, Paul Jackson, and Bob Kernan, 24th. Behind them is Tom Gradwell, Wayne Palmer, Joshua Flores, and Jeff Jacobson, Paul Godden, and Daniel Wood, Ed Daugherty, Ian Gibson, and Charlie Vaccaro, Philip Berry, and Stephen Mitchell, and Steve Ellison at the end of our 36-car grid. Joshua Justice is not on the track, but he's joined us in our YouTube chat saying it was a better save than mine.
Hey, yeah, that was a really, really spectacular save. I actually don't believe I would have been able to do that, to be honest. With my young and accurate reflexes, I don't think I would have been able to do that. That was a really good save. But yeah, we got another formation lap around Phillip Island. The Porsche being used for one last time. Today, the pace car driver having an absolute field day, just trundling along Phillip Island, getting a great view of all the Australian fans in the stands, and of course driving this spectacular track. And these drivers anxiously waiting for the green flag to drop. We've got about 2-ish minutes. I think a few drivers are starting from the pit lane to try and avoid the chaos. I mean, as we saw last race, it was pretty clean up the front, apart from maybe 1 or 2 incidents. But I can't wait to see what the likes of York Marnie and Harry can do coming through the field. And yeah, I think we got a pretty interesting race on our hands, Austin.
We seriously do, as we were treated for a 15-minute heat race. We have a 25-minute race now to end out a spectacular day of racing here for the Weekend Warriors. Runoffs here for our Spec Racer Fords. Our Formula Vs as well was a great race, and I believe we do have a great race scheduled for us today. The clouds have rolled in. It's a little bit foggy, a little bit overcasty here right now, but I still believe that we got a good race going on.
Yeah, I think we got a pretty spicy race. It's a very different mindset from the first race, of course. The first race was just gun it, send it, doesn't matter. We got 15 minutes, and now we have 25 minutes, and a much longer race for these guys to think about what they're actually going to do. Instead of maybe sending it, maybe they might be a little bit more cautious, and well, we'll see what
will these guys start. Remember, it was a very early jump that Dudu Castro did to start off the first race. Are we going to be seeing another early jump like Ken Bately, as they have control of the field of when they are going to go? And also a driver that you really, he's already going.
He's already going.
Wow. Green. The race started off. He's caught me off guard with that too.
Yeah, absolutely spectacular start from him. He's already a second ahead of
the pace car into the pit lane, as we now have the green call, and this field is in shambles.
Everyone is so unprepared for the start, but nevertheless, we're still going to get smashed into turn 1, about 2 wide for the battle for 4th place. At the moment, he goes wide.
Goes Paul Savonik.
He's going to have to be careful coming back on. Be careful. You've got 8 cars behind you.
He does keep it alive. Everybody behind him got out of the way. But Paul, that was a very poor start by him. But I'm pretty sure everybody's very poor start, because that field was so spread out. Ken Bately, the draft of this car, it was just now caught up. But here comes Alvaro Dantas. Dantas already up 3 spots, looking for the lead. And yes, he's got it at the Honda hairpin.
Very impressive move by Dantas. Kind of underwhelming for Ken Bately. He really had about a second to play with, but here he comes trying to defend and gets back into the lead of the race. Well, good move from Ken.
Around the outside too, wonderful move by the TLD Motorsport driver Ken Bately, Eduardo Dantas, and Michael Nelson getting in there as well, as they go side by side. That 332 machine side by side with Michael Green as Dantas looking up for another move, and he's no! Big slide, and off goes the 22 as well of Weiger Adalo, off 2 cars off the track right now, and 3 cars as well, as that is going slow. The number 13, Adalo. Yeah, That's Flavio Andalo getting involved right there. But our top 5, it's Bately, Nelson, Dantes, Perry, and Castro. Green, Megan, Overstreet, and Reese in there as well, followed by Monty and Brewster. But look who is in. Oh my gosh, they're 4 wide.
Oh no, we're gonna die. Oh, I think one of them just deciding to back out. That's probably the smarter move. I would not go 4 wide.
Antonio was not the one backing out, but this is what happened to Flavio heading into that left-hander. Does he get a little bit too tasty with it? There is the contact up ahead. Oh, it's just unavoidable.
Yeah, that was pretty unfortunate.
You gotta watch out on rejoining the track. See, he's just kind of parked it up onto the curve, and that is what you need to do. Park it up onto the curve, make sure everybody else sees it, and then you get back onto the track in a very straightish line, going with the flow of the track, not 90 degrees.
Yeah, like some other people would decide to do, but I think the slipstream round here is a lot more powerful than I anticipated it. I mean, the gap at the top was kind of huge on the last lap, and well, the top 4 are already back within a second of each other, so yeah, and Darlo now just going to have to play his cards right. A long race to go. We're going through this section again. Is it going to be as chaotic as it was last lap? They're all just as close, but everyone learning from their mistakes and hopefully not crashing into one another as we go into this hairpin. And these guys up ahead fighting for, I believe that's 10th place they're fighting for. Very, very close. They're side by side coming around the final corner. The cars behind trying to see if they can sneak in through. I hope they don't go 4 wide, but I mean, as we saw last lap, some of these drivers just think, why not? We're going to go 4 wide. They're possibly about to go 3 wide.
Contact on the straightaway, but they kept going to 2-1-2 of Alan McCain going up on 2 wheels. And this is not the motorbike track. This is car racing. And they go side by side through turn 1. And they're still side by side off the exit. The 528 of Kurt Nunes and Paul Slavonic go side by side, but it's Kurt retaking the lead of this group in 10th place. As speaking of the lead, Kent Bately is still in the lead ahead of Michael Jean Nelson. And behind him in the fight for 3rd, the 3 wide. And look who is at the lead of that pack. It is Antonio Reese and Jason Perry. And hello, dude, down here on the inside.
Yoke Money. Oh, someone just went off.
Slavonic. And we got more cars, 3 cars off. Vaccaro, Jacobson, and Slavonic all are off the track.
Yeah, big incident at the first hairpin. I think, as we saw in the first heat, some drivers just getting a little bit too ambitious on the brakes into that corner, and possibly we might have seen it again. Let's get a replay as we come down this straight into the hairpin. Everything looks fairly normal so far.
The car gets just a tap early, and well, that is 8-ball corner pocket right there.
Yeah, not what you want to see, but Slavonic as well having his own incidents down at the hairpin.
I think he just spun on his own. This is separate.
Well, let's take a look. The 528 coming down the hairpin. He's side by side. Does he lose it all by himself? He gets a tap.
Oh yeah, he did. He closed in on the car on the inside to get that tap.
Ooh,
and
that.
Boo. That's
Spec
kind of
Racer Ford jump scare.
It's kind of that. Oh! We go back live. We got 4-car incident.
That's a massive incident.
Adam Bradshaw, Flavio Andalo, Jim Brewster in there as well.
I believe that's into turn 1.
Yes, that is turn 1.
Yeah, I think these guys really.
Well, we're giving Jonathan a
very
workout
racy
on the replay button. As speaking of racing, we got our leading pack of the race so tightly compacted with each other. And can you believe this race has only been going on for 5 minutes? Here is our replay of what just happened at turn 1. And I'm pretty sure, no, don't do it. No. Nobody made it through there.
No.
And
yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, this is why we don't go 4 wide on the front straightaway heading into turn 1.
Yeah, that's just silly.
That ended up badly.
I think that's the best way you could describe it. But yeah, as you were saying, the battle for the lead, it was around, I think, from first to sixth, it was around a second. And yeah, name another series where you get that. I don't even think you'd get that in Formula V's.
The FIA World Party Championship.
Oh, for God's sake, not
It's
yeah,
the truth. It's the truth.
The racing in this is so close compared to anything else we've seen, and the battle for the lead just continuing as Bately still holding on to the lead, but now has the battle with Nelson as they go side by side into turn one. Round the outside, Nelson slips up into first place.
So fight for the lead is Michael Nelson up ahead of Ken Bately. From starting up on pole, he is still alive in second place, so he can still go for this lead. And like I said, he's not out of there. Our top 10 is still kind of in this as well. It is first all the way through, I believe, 9th is our leading group. And all the big names are in there as well. As we get out of the Honda hairpin is Nelson, as Bately and Perry go side by side for second place. Perry on the outside as we ride on board of Antonio Reese, who's stuck on the outside. There goes Yorkmani down low and into 5th place. As there is an incident, Chris Montgomery is off the track, as I believe Jonathan Grabowski, who has been busy on the switchboard here today, is about to find that replay for us right now. We're looking at Nelson under pressure. Let's go take a look at that replay. And as soon as we do that, I think I just saw Ken Bately get off the track. And this is heading into the hairpin, and late braking move. Yeah, Ken Bately's just had an incident as we switch on to that replay. We're going to be switching to another replay of what happened to Ken Bately. Our pole sitter, and starting in the lead of this race, is out of this race in 10th place. So this is we're about to have that replay of Ken Bately, what happened heading into that hairpin. He was in 2nd place. That's Jason Perry right behind him, heading into the hairpin, and Perry, no. Just the smallest of taps heading into that corner sent Ken Bately off the track and down into 10th place. That is very unfortunate. As I believe Aaron has just had a issue. So joining me in the commentary booth in a bit would be Jonathan Grabowski.
I made it.
Hey Jonathan, you got my text.
Yes, glad I was able to switch on the microphone quickly to talk to you about this crazy week 13 runoff, which is always wild.
Yeah, sorry to lie about the free hot dogs. That was just to get you up here to run faster.
Free hot dogs, free Cracker Jacks, I'll take it.
Yeah, free racing. That's the best. As we got a good racing going on right now. Due to Castro, Jason Perry, and Yorkmani are top 3. It's that second group kind of just being pulled away. Castro in the lead. Perry holding on 2nd place. Yorkmani in 3rd.
Yeah, this is a great battle. This type of race is perfect for Yorkmani, as we've talked about throughout the season. He does not like fuel racing. He loves going, full send every lap. So this 25-minute heat format is perfect for him.
Yeah, York, he loves these racing. He doesn't do fuel saving. He just wants to go. And he's certainly doing that right now. Getting into the draft of Perry, looking for 2nd place, and he's got it. And now he's in the draft. Dudu Castro wanted to catch up there, but he's got 2nd place, and now he's looking for the lead of the race. To fly through turn 1, Dudu Castro leading out this group. Jason Perry, Spider-Man as he's asked us to call him for today, is sitting in 3rd, but our biggest mover up 22 spots is Stephen Mitchell in that 9:17. We saw Mitchell have that issue early on in the first heat race today. Well, he's bringing it back. He's in 13th from starting all the way near the end of the pack. Yeah, this is a very good, this is a recovery drive for him.
He had a tough one. Also, correct, Ian Gibson is right behind him, who had an incident early in the race. He's up 18 spots as well, so we've seen a few high climbers.
Yeah, we got a lot of drivers moving up through the field. As, well, back here, it kind of looks more just like a club race. Cars are very spread out, but not entirely packed. And then it's polar opposite up front, where it looks like a barroom brawl is Josh Flores off the track.
Let's see what happened to Josh here on the replay.
I feel like he's on his own, and this would be a case of too much mustard. Is this well, this is very speedy into brakes, and well, yeah, too much oh, he almost made it work right there, but he just got a little lick of the grass and around he went. Well, not around, off he went.
Here we are.
Back up front.
I think this group now, I think everybody should just kind of stay content with it. We're only at the halfway point of this race, Austin, and it's been absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, it is a very bonkers race going on right now. Monty closed in 3/10 that lap for a very fast lap as we continue on. It wasn't our fastest lap of the race, but it is still going on right now, as this is a very tight 3-car fight, 4-car fight. They went side by side just for a little bit. That's Paul Jackson. In the background, I saw a car fly off the track. Was that Philip Berry and Bob Kern?
Might have been.
Oh, and off the track as well goes Paul Jackson. I feel like anybody. Oh, no. Oh, Castro and Perry's also had an incident up front.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. We wanted to look for replays to happen of just chaos happening, but Perry and Castro have had an incident, and they were in the top 5 when that happened.
Oh, no, Dodo.
Oh, did he have enough fuel in the car? Oh, no. He just had an incident. Okay, he was going slow. I'm not going to think of that. I'm not going to think that second.
Let's take a look at Philip Berry first. We have a whole bunch of replays.
Actually, you can adjust fuel in this car. That's right. Oh, wait, no, you can't.
So this is Philip Berry's.
The 930. Oh, it just wasn't clear. The 933 was the car that he just got hooked on, and that was a very violent jump through the grass right there for the 88.
Bob Kern. This is from Bob Kern's
Right on board of Bob Kern. 3 wide on the outside, looking behind him and looking in front of him. Well, I think he was just a little bit shell-shocked right there, and just
and then Paul Jackson.
Have that car have that issue, and this is what happened to Paul Jackson, as the 249 just the car was spinning already, and he got a big hit from behind him, and then
we'll get to Dudu Castro and Perry.
Now this is Dudu Castro. So we go up ahead. Dudu Castro, was he leading the race, or was he in 3rd place?
He was leading. That's him in the Texaco by TK.
That was lead, and there goes Spider-Man down to the inside, and oh, no! That was not using your Spidey senses at all. And we go back live, and that is Nelson around! What is going on? Well, as Jay Collis would say, the grass is lava. Well, other cars heading back from a replay is even bigger lava.
Take a look at
What
Nelson
is this
here.
race? As this is Nelson, as we went back live, we saw Nelson getting spun around, sitting in 3rd place, and that is Monty up ahead. They just make contact with each other.
Great job
that is so
Overstreet to
unfortunate.
miss him.
Yeah, Overstreet, she really avoided him and kept on going.
Where does Megan come from?
Megan, she started this race in 13th and sitting in 4th, up 7 spots, and Jorg Monty is up 10 spots in 3rd. This is a recovery drive by the entire top 4, up mostly 4+ places. Jason Grain has been up there near the front this entire time, but look at Antonio Reese, 2 seconds clear of everybody else.
Almost starting where he did it, almost worked out. It's worked out for Jorg Monty, because he would. I think he finished. I think what 12th or so in the last race. So he was with that really fast group. You know, that the field being top 10 being inverted. So he was able to race around really fast guys and maintain pace, and they've all met up again.
Yeah, they've all rejoined forces once again, and now Jorg Monty trying to close that 2-second gap to Antonio Reese is kind of polar. It kind of is a symmetrical version of what happened in our Formula V race runoff earlier today, where we had that runoff group, and everybody else trying to catch him by 2 seconds. Is Jorgmani going to be the one to close that gap? Is Antonio Rees going to be able to hold it off? We know Rees and Jorgmani, they're very quick and very equal pace in these cars, so it's going to be a very uphill battle. But look at Megan Overstreet, Jason Green, and Dantes, and Rees is off the track. I can't believe what I just saw.
No.
Well, will something into existence is what I'm good at. I just cursed him. I am sorry.
Still has the lead. Still has the lead.
He still has the lead, but that lead is falling. That lead is falling like a raft stuck in a river without a paddle, and it's being swept by the current. He's taking a defensive line. He knows he's right there. And we, ladies and gentlemen, with less than 10 minutes to go, we got a 5-car battle for the lead.
Surprised. Jump back and check out the battle. Stays right inside the top 28 with Jeff Cantor, Flavio Nadal, Paul Savanik, and Josh Flores. These guys have kind of been through the wars a little bit today.
Now the war has definitely been going on for all these drivers. A few of the drivers getting a little bit banged up here and there, but they're all continuing on. Very clean racing going on as Paul Savanik. He's had a up and down day, incidents left and right, but still driving out there and trying to chase down Flavio Andalo. Jeff Cantor up ahead as we go back to our leading fight. Jorgmani and Antonio Rees. Switzerland versus Portugal, and the Americans right behind him, Jason Green, and don't forget about the Brazilian Eduardo Dantas at the back of this group. We go side by side, heading into the Honda hairpin, side by side, Money for the lead, just by a nose. Can he hold on through the end of the hairpin, or is it going to be Rees off the outside? It's Money by a 10th.
Yeah, smart play by Antonio, just to kind of duck in there and stay in the pack.
They all stay alive through Siberia. Megan Overstreet, she got a little bit wide. She falls to 5th place, back to the back of this pack. And honestly, she's got the best view of what's happening in front of her in the fight for this lead. So let's ride on board and Megan Overstreet. Heading into this hairpin, the downhill hairpin. There's a move for the lead. Antonio Rees wanted to go for the lead immediately, but he's going to have that draft for the lead. Now remember, earlier in this race, we saw 4 wide of drivers just getting a better run on each other. Are we going to be seeing a new leader? And I think it's going to be Jason Green in 3rd place, getting the best run. Down the front straight we go. Jorgmani diving to the left of the track. Here comes Antonio Rees. Rees down for the lead of the race. Here comes Jason Green. Green is in there as well. He's backed off of it. He doesn't want to go for the lead. He just wants to stay there. So back into the lead is the Portuguese driver of Antonio Rees.
Yeah, I think Green's going to wait. I mean, he knows that Antonio and Jorg are very hard racers, so why take the chance right now? Yeah, we still have some time remaining here in this race.
Yeah, still time in this race. It's still time for things to go wrong. Here comes Jason Green. Green's onto the inside. He kind of snuck down in there of the Red Lobster. And now it is Jason Green up into 2nd. But now Jorgmani of the Red Lobster machine can get it right back in the brakes. And yes, he does in the hairpin. Jorgmani back into 2nd place. They are fighting amongst each other. The top 5 can be separated pretty much by a blanket right now. Total separation all by 1 second. Rees has gone off the track again. Just a little off track here. He's kept it going speed-wise. But now look around the outside. There's Jorgmani for the lead of the race.
Green comes and joins him. No, he doesn't.
It's too far back to be making that move. It was a very heads-up move by Jorgmani. Rees just got off the track, but you know, he could be practicing to see on how far back you need to be making the move on this front straightaway before the lead, because this was the last lap. This would be going to Rees right here. Look at the speed that Rees is going to be getting down that front straightaway and where the start-finish line is. Actually, he's about 2/10 too far back, as there will be the start-finish line right here, so he wouldn't have got it. But look at the speed that he's got. He's going to be regaining the lead of this race right here, but with less than 4 minutes to go. The time is ticking down here for our top 5. here for the SRF Weekend Warriors feature race for the Spec Racer Ford. This is the fight for 17th. Slavonic ahead of Adalo, Jackson, and Palmer and Flores, as they are also in a 6-car fight, nose to tail.
This has become a really good battle.
Yeah, Paul Jackson, the Englishman, going down to the inside of Flavio Adalo, the Brazilian trying to hold it around the outside. So they go side by side through turn 1. And Paul Jackson falling to Joshua Flores on the outside. The American driver, can you hold it around the outside? It's not looking like it.
Back up to our lead group.
Back to our fight for the lead. 3 minutes to go on the clock, as time is definitely ticking down for Antonio Rees. Who is it going to be out of these 5 drivers? We are very close to finding out. Rees, Monty, Green, Overstreet, Dantes, all of them have a chance to make this race theirs. They're going to be taking the final 2022 SRF Weekend Warriors Runoffs victory and become a Runoffs champion. Monty got a good run heading out of that final corner, immediately wanting to get that track. He's much closer than Antonio Rees was to him. As the white flag, 2 minutes to go. It will be 2 laps to go here. As we go 3 wide, here comes Jason Green for the lead of the race.
Yeah, Green was gonna wait to make his move. 2 to go. Now's the time.
And Green into the lead of the race. Antonio Rees falls down to 3rd. Megan Overstreet, she wanted to be making a move. And remember what happened of the last regular season SRF race on the last lap. Megan Overstreet, she was sitting in 4th. She went up to 3rd and up into 2nd before having an incident and finishing in 3rd. She wants to her best result. She wants to go for 2nd or even better, the win. As Monty and Green are going side by side for the lead of the race. Here's Overstreet and Rees going side by side for the 3rd place of the race. Overstreet got onto the anchors a little bit harder. Falls down to 4th. Rees back up into 3rd.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Megan does here, because she's fast for sure, and she has been willing to take advantage of the opportunities when the guys in front, like the Mannies and whatnot, get over aggressive.
And Overstreet, I feel like she's got something special for this move right here. So let's run on board of Megan Overstreet heading into the hairpin. She's got all the drivers up ahead of her wanting to go for the move. Rees looking out to the inside, just selling a little bit of fake, but here comes Overstreet. Overstreet, she's going to be getting a good run right here. Monty and Green up ahead. They are once again in that opportunity to go side by side, 3 wide across the line, and I feel like we're going to be seeing that this time. It's for the last lap of the race. White flag is in the air for the final lap of the Spec Racer Ford's Weekend Warriors runoff race and of our feature race as well. Green gets a good run, goes down to the inside, retakes the lead. Here comes Antonio Rees going for the lead of the race. Here we go, 3 wide into the lead, but he backed out of it. Jason Green holds on to the lead of the race.
Oh, that was tough. And look at Overstreet.
Monty down to the inside, takes 2nd place. Overstreet, she's sneaking her way up in there. She wants another podium as well. And don't count out Dantes. He's very far back, but he could go for a move on Overstreet. And heading into this hairpin is going to be very key for the lead of this race. There's Monty defending onto the inside of that, attacking onto the inside as well.
He's got it.
Rees and Monty. There's a little bit of contact at the back. Overstreet, and they've all spun and collected each other.
No.
Megan Overstreet's in 2nd, and Jason Green. It's a 2-car fight.
Oh, it was almost inevitable.
They were all going for the same bit of road, and I think Monty got tapped by Rees, who got tapped by Overstreet, and they all spun. The only one who wasn't tapped by anybody was Jason Green into the lead, but now he's being chased down by Megan Overstreet. She got 3rd in her last race. Is she going to look for her first overall victory? She's closing in on Green, heading into the final few corners. She is very far back, half a second heading into that braking zone, just setting himself up for the best exit possible. 4/10 separate and falling for Megan Overstreet. The checker flag is in the air. It's a long left-hander, but I think it's too far back for Megan Overstreet. She is trying her best, but it is going to go to the 160 of Jason Green to take the feature race here of the Spec Racer Fords in our Week 13 runoffs.
You need to take another look at that, Austin.
I feel like there was a big accordion incident right here.
Here's
So
the
here's your
replay.
Monty. Monty goes down low. Reeves is back in there, but Monty, big set. Oh, he's locked up. Tapped by Green, who then has got collected by each other, but he really sent it in there. He locked up the brakes and just kind of went into Green's line. And Green, well, he kind of started off that effect. But Jason Green takes the win here today. Megan Overstreet in second and besting her best finish. Action-packed.
Yeah, I was trying to multitask it. That was action-packed for sure. And,
There's the, here we go.
And
Let's
the
start the chaos.
celebrations are out. The traditional SRF Weekend Warriors demo derby has begun.
And I think immediately the first hit broke Jason Green's car.
What a race. And Megan Overstreet 2 weeks in a row, you know, being in the thick of it, being smart, getting 2 podiums out of it. And she really has raised her game over the second half of this Weekend Warriors season.
Yeah, 2023 for Megan Overstreet, it's looking really nice. She got pole in the Formula V's. Didn't take the win in the Formula V race, but she is looking on point to having a historic season in 2023. So very excited stuff to see here on Sundays on Apex Racing TV for the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors. What a fantastic event we had here today. Formula V's, the first heat of the SRS, and then the final heat. Here are your feature race results. Jason Green takes the win ahead of Megan Overstreet. Antonio Rees, followed by Dan Satter, York Bonnie, Ken Bately, Kane Lasky, Tom Gradwell, Michael Nelson, Stephen Mitchell in 10th place, as well as our biggest mover up 25 spots for 10th. Followed by Eduardo Dantas, Ian Gibson, Paul Gooden, Jim Brewster, Gary Woodbolt, Paul Savonik, and Daniel Wood, followed by Wayne Palmer in 18th. Behind them, it's Josh Flores, Dudu Castro, Jeff Cantor, Alan McCain, Jeff Jacobson, Paul Jackson, Flavio Dallas, Stevie Ray, Bob Kern, and Charles Maccaro in 28th place. And then it's Jason Perry, Philip Berry, Kurt Nuez, Chris Montgomery, Adam Bradshaw, Ed Daugherty, Matthias Weiger, and Steven Elston at the end of our 36-car grid. And joining us is our race winner, ladies and gentlemen, Jason Green.
Hey, y'all.
Jason, that race, well, both of those races were very tightly fought from start to the finish. And you started in the middle of all of it, and you were always up in there. Walk us through that race.
Oh, I mean, it was, yeah, both races were incredible. I'm still kind of in shock a little bit. I definitely didn't have as much pace in the SRF, so to do better in that than I did in the V's was, yeah, I'm still kind of, don't really believe it.
Well, you pinch yourself. You are not dreaming. You won the SRF Weekend Warriors runoffs feature race here. Starting from 6th place to the victory. You were always up in that fight. How's it like in these Spec Racer Fords to be fighting the entire race with about 10 cars all around you, all separated less than a second?
It's extremely stressful for sure, especially into the first hairpin where Jurgen and I touched a little bit. If you misjudge the braking point wrong, or you think somebody's going to brake a little later, and they ended up braking earlier, you can you can lock up and then cause a big accident. So it's yeah, it's a lot. It's you have to pay attention the entire time, and to make sure cause a big one.
Well, fortunately for you, you've taken the win here today. Your patience and, well, eyes up and in a very stressful situation paid off for you taking the win here today. Before we let you go to get ready for the new year, anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank Stevie Ray, as always, for putting this together, y'all for doing the broadcast. I want to thank Jorg, Antonio, Michael, and everybody else in the league. I wouldn't have, without their advice and guidance and learning from them, I wouldn't have ever been able to achieve a win. So it's a great league, a bunch of great people in it, and yeah, very thankful to be a part of it.
Well, congrats on a fantastic race and a fantastic victory, Jason. We hope you had a wonderful time, and we hope to see you again in the new season.
Yep, can't wait until next week to kick it off.
All right. As Jason heads off, we bring on Megan Overstreet. Megan, 1 week ago, you put in your best regular season result of 3rd, and then you top that off with a 2nd place here today. How was that race?
Oh, that was a fantastic race. So I started 25th in the first heat, made my way up to 11th, and started 11th in the final race and got to 2nd. It was a very, very draft-heavy track, so that did help a lot, but just sticking with the draft pack, not making any mistakes was a world of a difference, and especially avoiding the crashes that happened along the way.
You had a very uphill fight. You started on the outside of the top 10. You started, I believe, 11th, and you had to power your way up through the field. And like you said, there's chaos all around you. How was it battling throughout that entire race? There was never a moment that anybody really had a clean shot of winning this thing, as y'all were all separated underneath 1 to 2 seconds.
Oh, it was incredibly fun. Tight racing like that, everyone was racing very, very clean for the most part, so that made it extremely fun.
It certainly looked like a lot of fun, and heck, it makes me want to get out there onto the track as well and race with y'all. But hey, somebody has to talk about this craziness going on out there onto the track. Before we let you go celebrate this, anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank y'all in the race booth. Y'all do a fantastic job broadcasting the series. RaceVoice for sponsoring, Stevie Ray for putting the series on, and all the people that participate in these races, because without everybody showing up to do this, we wouldn't have a fantastic show to do. And also my family that's watching.
I think York Manny also wants to thank you there as well. He just mentioned in the YouTube chat.
I think he's asking for thanks for using his set.
Yeah, that is really good. And
Well,
also, I'd like to congratulate Jason, because that's his first Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warrior win.
It really was, and history definitely was made here today. Your best finish, Jason's best finish, his first win, and a lot of smiles going around for everybody here. It's the Weekend Warriors runoffs. It is, I would say, over right now. Jonathan, any final words, any final thoughts?
You know, this is always such a great race that we do at the end of every week 13. You know, we get to see drivers who usually aren't part of our SRF Weekend Warriors series. We get to see our regulars, and it almost sets up a preview of what to expect next season. I think we're gonna see the Jason Greens, Megan Overstreet, who's come on so strong over the last season. I expect her to have a big season 1 of 2023 in the SRF Weekend Warriors for sure.
I'm expecting it as well, as 2023 is around the corner. Thank you all for joining us here for the entirety of the 2022 Season 4 season. If you're new, this is your first race, y'all are just getting started for a very weekly tradition here on Apex Racing TV for the SRF Weekend Wars, as well as the Ray Esports League at 7 p.m. here in American time. As well for the Ray Esports League on Tuesdays. That also heads here on Apex Racing TV. Thank you all for joining us here. I've been joined by Jonathan Grabowski in the production booth and in the commentary box, as well as Aaron Smith. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.